Everybody's just listening. So, okay. So let's just start this now, since we're having a little bit of problems with the net meeting over here. So, well, guys, good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. We're going to introduce today Mr. Joel Holmes. He's the director and co-founder of the 3DS Net Inc., which was founded in 1996. The 3DS provides technical solutions and services in all industries. Joel has more than 40 years of industry experience in CAD and implant design, and he provides tools to optimize the 3D project execution and drawing workflows. So Joel has been doing this for a long time. He's going to be actually doing the demonstration. He's probably going to run also a PowerPoint, I believe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the presenter. I'm going to make him the presenter. You guys are going to be able to see what he has to offer. Again, if you have any questions, you can always email us. We may be able to answer it right away, or we get the questions and then we can answer later on after the presentation. So let me make him into a presenter, so he can show you what he can do with the addition of the OrthoGen for plant and some other products. So let's do that, and I'm gonna make him my presenter here. And now hopefully you can see his screen. Joel, it's all yours.
Hello. All right, thank you. And thanks to everybody that's joining in this morning. So I'm Joel Holmes, company's 3DS. We're based in just south of Houston. And we've been doing this for 23 years. So founded in 96, been automated drawings for 23 years, thousands of customers in 50 countries.
Oh, okay.
Software itself runs in 6 spoken languages.
Yeah.
It's a little timeline. We started out with OrthoGen for PDS. Went to Smart Plant, MicroStation V8, AutoCAD. CADWorks in 2013, BricsCAD 2015, OptiPlant, automatic pipe router models in 2017. Just last year we added support for Plant 3D, and this year we'll be adding support for Revit. And the Revit one will probably initially be cloud-based annotator. Been working with the Forge stuff, Autodesk. So we like to say we're a single source for automated drawings. We're handling multiple platforms, multiple CAD systems. A man that can produce drawings out of Plant 3 can produce drawings out of CADWorks using our tools. Trend of models, drawings are coming out of the model, with the BIM and everything. Drawings are a product of the model. So what we've seen for many years is everybody's got to be in the model. All disciplines need to be in the model. You need to model those offline. Put those offline instruments in the model. Don't 2D them on a drawing. That way OrthoGen can bring them out on your drawing. OrthoGen can tag. We've got this clear space search algorithm that'll place interior tags, and it'll reduce your cleanup time on busy drawings about 70%. Dimensioning, we've got some styles that are very automated, up to 70–80%. We got some styles where we generate AutoCAD dimensions, and the user would take over and reposition them. Dimensioning could be 50–80%. Most importantly, as your model finishes up during the deadline, at the last minute, they say, all right, let's update all the drawings. No pressure there. Everybody get them done. The whole project's waiting for the drawings. And you'll be able to quickly run updates on these OrthoGen drawings, and knowing all your tags will be correct, all your top of steels, bottom of pipes, line numbers, all this stuff is coming out. It's the formation of a drawing. It's the basic information. The really boring stuff that's hard to put on There's still another layer of detail on most drawings that have to be added manually, control data and field notes and such. So it's not a 100%, but it'll automate some of the most time-consuming parts of drawing production. Then later, well, we're already working on this too. We've got a lot of requests. I'm using my plant 3D model, and the plant is inside of a Revit building. So we've already got a Revit plug-in, an OrthoGen plug-in for Revit that'll extract the data out of Revit. It's all happening on the desktop, and put it in a certain location, and we can point OrthoGen to it. And then we can combine Revit data with Plant 3D and annotations and dimensions. So we can dimension the Plant 3D pipe to Revit grids and Revit steel. Revit, the next step, Plant 3D, this is our cloud. We'll actually drag the RVT file to the cloud server. It'll extract all the sheets, the DWGs. It'll extract all the data needed to annotate the labels, and then it'll annotate the new AutoCAD drawings.
I think it's going to be here. Yes.
Your annotated drawings in the cloud, you can save them into BIM 360 or Box or whatever. So this will be the next big thing we're coming up with. We're also we've got requests like on this interface Revit. We've also had a request to do the same thing with MEP, and that'll be coming this year probably. So we deliver it with a whole bunch of pre-configured view styles for all disciplines. There is no programming required in this world. It's all picks off of the interface. Very easy to create your own custom view styles. You can copy one of the delivered ones and customize it. Every time you run a drawing, it remembers the last style used when it was run last. So it's kind of nice. After you tag everything's on tag items on the inside of a view, you can move and rotate those interior labels. And when you do updates, those edits are all remembered. It doesn't remember the edits around the outside on the exterior, but there's the most efficient way to do it. We would actually delete all the exterior labels and redraw them every time. That way you know you match the model. And again, that clear space search is going to save you a lot of time tagging drawings. And that's just thanks for this part of it. Thanks again for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and get out of this, and hopefully you can see my screen. We're looking at a pretty hefty duty skid model here. This is all Plant 3D, pure Plant 3D. I can do the edit view, attach the models, everything. It's a viewport in a layout. We will process multiple viewports in a layout. You got 5 of them, we'll do all 5. Now this isn't an operation where I got to go in and touch the pipe and place a label, touch, or run a dimension string by snap, 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 snap. Oop, forgot one. It's just tedious work. So before I get into the heavy duty part of it, I wanted to take us through a little step. I'm going to have pick a style that's got nothing turned on, and then so we pick our drawing file here. This matches my tab here. Configuration wise, you go to project settings and you tell it. We deliver some sample projects, 3D systems and units. Your 3D modeling system you want to work with, the CAD drawing system you want to work with. CAD drawing system is populated by what you've got installed on your machine. View styles pass, and we store our view styles out on Program Data 3ds OrthoGen, and then for each discipline or each 3D system, there's a set of view styles for Plant 3D, CADWorks, Smart 3D. The view styles folder, and then you see a folder for every discipline, and then you'll see a folder for every style. And as I go through this, you'll see that for every style, it's all folder based. So I can copy a folder, I can rename it, and the selections change over there. Once we've got all our project information, our view styles, I think it goes right there, and then your distance units, diameter units. So we got our project done. Now we're going to go in and tell it, I'm going to go into my view style editor. I've got nothing turned on. I can hit the view style button, or if I get this active settings group will show me what's turned on. I can just click on one of those and it brings up the style editor. Style editor's got an entity list down the left side. You pick something and then there's 4 tabs. Like for the view, I can tell it to add a match line to the view, read the viewport and label it. The nomenclature that goes around the sides of the view, the word match line, 1 word or 2 for continuation C drawing, or you could shorten it just to say C drawing, whatever you want to do there. We've told it to add a match line, so I'm going to hit the update button, and it should read our viewport and place a view boundary match line. Also place some dimensions, overall dimensions, but we'll come back to those. So this is a group. You see it, all 4 of them lights up. So what I like to do right off the bat is explode this. This match line view label is static. In other words, we will not erase this and update it. It's so that you can come in and edit your continuation drawing numbers and clean these up to be the match line information that you need. So now that they're exploded, again, the view label are static. So if I leave it turned on, it's just going to place another one in on top of that one. So we're going to turn it off. So I'm going to skip down to equipment, and we're going to start with some basic tagging. We're going to say interior. I can pick the format of the label, just the name, or with any combination of coordinates or coordinates only. The placement method could be clear space, fixed offset, or anchored, and I'll show you those. We'll start off with fixed offset, although it's okay. And then the label itself for equipment, we're using the tag property right now, and that's the only option. So I'm going to jump out of this and I'll go back in. Let's just do the clear space and add some equipment numbers to this view. Every time I hit the update, it runs whatever I've got selected to label inside, and it also labels everything I've got selected to label outside. So here's my equipment numbers. You got to underline on them. If that's not where I want it, I can reposition it, and it will remember those kind of edits. The label itself, if we go into this next tab, the text options, I've got my color, weight, all my CAD parameters, heights and widths, and then my enclosure is an underline in this case. That's how I got that underline. And then there's some other for my any kind of coordinates that I place, the prefixes that I'm going to use. The elevation is actually we can change that to bottom pipe, inverted pipe, and so forth. The line options, we haven't really got to that. That's on exterior labels. So let's just go. We saw the interior tagging. What I'm going to do is turn off the interior, which I could leave it on. I'm going to say just give me a name. And since it's exterior, I'm going to say, all right, give me this exterior 5-point style. This is an OrthoGen style that we use typically when we use coordinates. Let's hit a button on that. So again, it's going to do the entire viewport every time, or all viewports. Okay, the spacing is really, the offsets are really bad here, but there's all my equipment numbers. Exterior with names only. And let's go in and let's change it to a name plus a coordinate. And let's go to line options. And let's see that there's the big offender right there. Let's change that B to a 0 and take 3 inches out of those leader lines. So the spacing relative to the match line is not automatic. It's always different depending on the size of the labels and the density of the drawings. You sometimes have to put it in different places. So this has got the appropriate north coordinate. You got the east coordinate over here. We could go into the exterior mode and say, okay, instead of those straight lines, I could do it this way and tell it to do these. This method we call exterior spread, uses a 3-point leader line, just goes around the edges, tags everything. So you could tag it with a north, and an east, or all three. So just a different way of tagging. See these used a lot for tagging instruments and lights and such. Another exterior option is linear dimensions. Let's look at these. These are the OrthoGen dimensions. And OrthoGen, when it dimensions around the edge, it will turn text sideways and offset dimension lines, whatever it's got to do to make it legible. That's what it attempts to do. So you can see how we turn that text sideways. We made it legible. We still got coordinates on. We should probably turn those off if we're going to do dimensions. Every object at the end of the leaders gets a arrow symbol, and those are all delivered in a little DWG file where you can define the name of the block to be placed at the end of your arrowheads and what have you. So that's a little quick run through some of the basic things on how we could tag. Now we do, if we look at the entity list, we do support grids. So if there's a Plant 3D steel grid in one of your models, it will generate the grid labels and dimension the pipe to the grids automatically. Dimensions themselves, we can be the linear dimensions, ordinate dimensions, or composite dimensions. Let's just do an ordinate dimension. We kind of got it already, ordinate dimensioning. So some basic things. Every time we hit the blue button, we're going to get one pass around the outside of the view, and then one pass around on the inside of the view. And again, if there's multiple views, we'll do them all. All right, so what I'm going to do now is seen some of the basics on equipment. Let's go down to piping. And first of all, that label format. This is what we'll be offering for all the entities soon. So we've got the full piping property set here, and I can configure your own label. You pick a property, add it over here, a separator, and you build up your own label here to be used for the line number. You can just use the tag, line number tag only, or in this case, I've got diameter, tag, insulation, thickness. So all these properties are available for piping to be used as a label. Now, piping, when we go exterior, you got a labeling method on piping. This first method we call longest largest leaving. This one will identify every unique pipeline that appears on the view one time, and it'll draw the label to the longest piece of pipe of the largest diameter. So that will meet your basic requirements to get every pipeline identified. And typically we use that in combination. Maybe we'd tag the equipment on the inside, and we'll use the pipes on the outside. We'll do it with this longest largest mode first, and we'll run an update on that. So a lot of the drawings, you start off with the longest largest, and then you start making it, making the settings more and more detailed to see what you can get away with. I'm not sure why did I get that. Exterior labels, name, coordinate. Oh, I've got it on ordinate dimensioning. That's why. Dimensions. Let's go with linear dimensions. I was actually gonna. Well, I'll do it. So it's going to go in again, tag the equipment on the interior, and then tag the. This time it's going to do the line numbers around the outside. Oops. With the dimensions, and it's all in this longest largest leaving mode. So hit it twice. On this annotate, we would know that all the piping, every unique pipeline is identified somewhere on this drawing. That would meet your basic requirements. Depending on what you're going to use the drawing for, you may want every one of these pipes along the edge dimensioned, located. So you might want to turn on a little more, another level of detail. There's another one called longest largest plus all that leave. Nothing leaves the view on this view, so we won't go there. And there's one called direction changes. Direction changes is what it says. So it's going to generate a label every time the pipes turn or change directions. This may be a little bit busy. We'll see. This is part of the process when you're doing a drawing. You see how much detail you can get it. No two views are the same. You know, everyone's different shapes, different densities, different model layout inside it. But this is your basic, real quick dimensioned piping drawing of a skid. It would take you a while to run that dimension string. Maybe it's too busy. I don't know. We can do some other filtering. You can filter on your drawing view and such, but I think that could be a pretty good start. What I'll do now is I've got a sample piping plan, a style that I created. So you got these individual styles, but you don't always just run a drawing through a style. Like I said, some drawings, different settings work better than others. So this one looks pretty good here. I could change this one to, let's go to ordinate. I think I got one here called piping ordinates. Ordinate piping, there you go. This one's different, where it puts the line number and a coordinate. It's just a coordinate, but it's a reference coordinate. Right now the equipment's being tagged on the inside, but we could pull the equipment labels out to the outside and put an ordinate dimension on them as well if you wanted to. We get collinear things that stacks them up like that. So all these are at this coordinate, so forth. And again, we can edit the interior. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to a section view. Not going to save the changes. Let's see. This is the same module, and what we did was we cut a view looking from the front halfway through the skid, and then another view from the back looking halfway through the skid. And we ran it in pretty detailed mode. In the section view, we wanted to get the BOPs all called out. And we just had it append the BOP to the line number. We could have it put the BOP under under the line number real easily. And if we were to review all this, the ordinate dimensioning on this thing, I looked at this. Looks like all these pipes along the type are all tied down with a coordinate, except it missed one. So there's sometimes, and it's probably because when that pipe turns up, there's an elbow right there. The pipe, physical pipe, did not intersect the view clipping. So sometimes you get little things like that, but I think you can agree there's a lot more dimensions on here than makes it worth a while. And then we've got the upper part of this skid. Drawing composition is the key. If you cut a plan from top to bottom on this unit here and try to annotate it, it's just going to be too much. So it's the key to good being able to automatically update your drawings is your view composition. You really you have to consider larger sheets, maybe even a larger scale of the view, smaller views, and maybe like in this case in a unit, instead of cutting a plan full depth from top to bottom, cut plans at every access level. So what we did here where this platforming is, we went from there up and then everything below. But it'll generate all these pretty fast, really fast, and it's tedious work. It gets saved to the end of the project all the time. So I'm going to just tell it to update this. Wipes out everything, regenerates it. Used a different setting that time, a little more active. Our equipment all here. See, instruments are turned on. They just aren't labeling any. Something like supports. I don't know if there's any supports in here, but we'll turn them on. You can see just how easy it is to turn on something else. Yeah, there's a couple of supports. They come out with the word hanger support. It's because yeah, it's not tagged in the model. That tag property in the model is empty. So as soon as they get that filled in, it'll come out with the correct tag. Again, that's a generic type setting. I got supports. I'm told it's a tag. I'm telling it to interior name, clear space, so forth. Now there is one other method on this dimensioning that we can use. It's called, well, I'm not doing dimensioning on this one. Let's go back to that. Go back to that plan. All right, so if I had a customer that demanded that these all be AutoCAD dimensions, rotated dimensions, you can come in on the pipes and go to, well, you go to dimensions and you tell it I want to use composite dimensions. I've told it the grid zone, put that in dimension string 2, pipes in dimension string 1. What I'll do is I'll go into the equipment and say I want equipment exterior. And now if I go to dimensions, I can put equipment in 2, grids in 3, so I could generate 3 dimension strings. So I'm not going to get one for the grids because I don't have any grid data. Do not dimension to view edge is turned on. So what we'll do here is, let's see, make sure I've got everything. Going to exterior, direction changes. Let's just run it. Forgot to send it back to plan. All right, let's do it on this one. So this is composite dimensioning. Now this is going to place AutoCAD dimensions all down the side. Now it's going to use the currently active dimension style. So that's the style that's going to be used for the dimensions. It didn't do it because it remembered my last run. Let's see, pipes, direction change. Exterior, I want to be composites again. Equipment. Try this again. Apologize for that. Got redirected there. So we'll take these out, and this time it's all AutoCAD dimension. Now the dimension uses the default dimension style in the drawing, and I apologize, our dimension style is terrible. Well, you see I got one dimension string from pipe to pipe, and I got one from equipment to equipment. You could obviously take these and you can move them in, move them out, delete them, whatever you need to do as a start on your drawing. So this would eliminate you, it'd run these dimension strings and eliminate you from having to go through here and snap, 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 snap. Potential to introduce errors. So we can do it where it's the output would be with all true AutoCAD dimensioning. I really think once you get used to using the OrthoGen styles that are very, very extremely low maintenance, that you might consider using those a lot. All right, so how are we doing for time here? About, I guess I'd like to show you also the help on the user's guide. It's a full text searchable PDF. There's a what's new section that's going to tell you what we've done in this version. The overview from here down to the appendix is all pure OrthoGen. Tells you everything you need about OrthoGen generic. And then when you want to know specifically about Plant 3D, there's an appendix down here that's going to tell us how we go about getting the data out. On Plant 3D, we're running off the database. We're running off doing SQL queries, drawing composition. The views all created with P3D. We do our clear space, the folder structures, however you want it to be, the grid entity. If it's in there, it'll cause it to generate labels on the drawing. Equipment, we're just using the tag right now. Again, this is another one coming through. We'll be adding all properties, so you could put tag on one line and short or long description on the second line. There's a lot more coming. Nozzles, we're using the tag. Instrument, we haven't just made a distinguishing between the inline versus the offline instruments yet, but that is in Plant 3D, so that's coming. All that did was we put a different block at the end of the leader line for an inline versus an offline. Routes, we tend to treat routes, pipes, trays, ducts, all the same. So what you can do with one, you can usually do to the other. The structure, we're labeling today we're labeling the plant steel. Now, if you take your plant steel and you go into advanced steel and you bring it back, we can't label it anymore. That's also on the list for this year to add support for advanced steel models in the exports out of advanced steel in the Plant 3D world. So we're looking at finishing up our Revit in the next month, moving to it through MEP real quick, and then we'll be ready to do the advanced steel. OrthoGen, we've identified this Plant 3D world that we want to be the integrators in this world. We're going to help you pull everything together in the Plant 3D drawing environment, which we've seen a lot of drawing environments, and the Plant 3D drawing environment is very well done. It really did a good job on that. So we label all the different types of objects in the Plant 3D world. Support these views, multiple views, section views. We can do some tagging on ISO views. That's about all we do with isometric views on ortho drawings. And like I said, you'll see more entities coming in here for the walls, doors, windows, and stuff out of Revit. And let's see, direction changes. There's some fancier ways to do this stuff. Multiple passes, leaving only, staying only. I'll see how bad this comes out. I'll try a different style here that comes in and says exterior inner margin. So watch this one. It's going to come through there. I believe it's just going to draw a dimension string around all four sides. This was a style where they wanted the dimensions around the outside edge. There they are. And I could change those to be, I never showed you that. If we go to dimensions and say native CAD, I'm going to turn them off. So now they're not going to be AutoCAD dimensions. They're going to be OrthoGen dimensions. You can see how we wipe them out. So we're going back through with OrthoGen dimensions and this exterior inner margin. So it went through and it's run the dimension strings around all four sides. We got some spacing issues. We need to pushing them apart. But then we would come back and we would turn on this append mode. And with append mode, I can go to outer margin, and I'm going to have it run another pass exterior and append it to those dimensions. There's no style where we can have it do them both at the same time, but we can do multiple layers. So I've got my dimension strings, and then I got my names of equipment and pipe. Could have done a little bit better job with the offsets and such. These styles were actually created in the metric world, so they don't always go across. But I wanted to show you that feature of pending, update a pin. Next version, I think we're going to have one here that says update only selected for labeling. So you could run the AutoCAD dimensions in there one time and then not, and just leave them there. Cut and run with them. You can maintain them yourselves. So hopefully that's a pretty good quick tour through this. Have any questions or want to do a trial or everything? Please get in touch with Gray Tech, Michael Pigeon. I didn't notice if there was any questions or not.
It doesn't seem like there's any.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so that will do you, Joe? Or you have something else to show? Or?
Yeah, no, I think that's about it. I mean, I could sit here and do this all day long. Obviously, I think you should get the idea of it. View composition being the real key here, and just appreciate your time. Look forward to hearing from you. So
and another thing is everything that Joel did today is going to be recorded. So we're going to have a recording of it. You can send it. We can send it to so many more people so they can see it. And if you have any questions, you can always call Great Tech. You have the phone number there for 3DS Net, which is right there if you want to write it down. Get a Facebook and LinkNet. You can do all that. So let it be there for a little bit so people have enough time to write it down. But again, all this is going to be a recording. It's going to be in our site. So if you need to see it, or you can tell somebody to go see it, you got to open Great Tech USA. You'll be able to find the link there. We're also going to make a separate recording just in case we need to send it to a client who would like to see this. You guys, thank you again for attending. Any questions, you know where to find me. Great Tech, now 3DS, which we welcome him and our family. I appreciate his help. Again, like you mentioned before, this is a non-stopping work. Okay, we're still adding more things to it. Like you mentioned, advanced steel was part of it. MEP is another one. So it's continuous work. We're going to be working together for a while. So thank you again, guys. Hopefully you enjoy your show.
all right. Thanks again.
There were a few people I emailed that couldn't watch it because of. I'm gonna try and put